All right. Well, it is the end of the month, which means two things. It's a new month for you to do better things, and we're going to wrap it all up here on In Crowd. We are back again for another episode of Wrapped, where we discuss all the trending topics from the last month. So let's get into it. Today we have Vito, who's our consultant, expert opinion on different things. We have MVP, who's from Juxtapose. We have Aaron from Pour Over Finance. My name is K Styles, and we're gonna wrap this whole month up for y'all. So, how's everybody doing?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Cannot complain. A lot of interesting topics. We're going to jump right into it. So, first one we have on the docket for today is a clip of Eboni K. Williams, who is a lawyer, a reality star, a news correspondent, and she was on her show where she's talking about affairs in the black community, and she was talking about dating, and Dr. Iyanla Van Zandt asked her if she would date a bus driver, to which she responded, and it created quite the stir. So we're going to play that first clip and jump right into that.
Today's sidebar starts with a note of gratitude. I want to thank the culture for making my interview with Dr. Iyanla Van Zandt one of the most popular and actively engaged content offerings the Griot has produced. So before I tell you my thoughts, let's replay the clip that had some of y'all deep into your feelings. I do want you to speak, Iyanla, to how women need to position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right, how we can create and not build, when some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem.
So that's kind of the framing of it. It sounded like it might have been a little bit choppy, but I hope everybody got the general context. The question was, would you date a bus driver? And her response was, if he owned the bus. So I guess what's first thoughts? We have some responses from her, but what's your first thoughts to that? I don't know who wants to start, but.
So
Go ahead.
I'm going to say something. What's the average person who owns buses? Like you're saying that if you don't, I'm thinking that she's saying if you don't own anything, I'm not going to talk to you.
So see,
Which is
that's where
crazy
the
to
problem
me.
is. You said the average person. I don't think she's looking for the average person.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
She's looking for well above average, and she stands in that.
And you know what? That is her just do. If that's what she wants to do, that's fine. But I mean, it just created a lot of conversation, and we have another clip that we're gonna insert on the recording. But like it was to the point where she was like apparently getting death threats and all stuff. And I'm like, first of all, I think death threats for that comment is a little excessive. Like, you know, there's some real stuff in the world to be worried about, and her opinion that's not the end of the world. I do think that it's interesting that we had her not feeling like she need to back down. She saw it as a space to, you know, say that, you know, essentially men need to do better. I guess specifically black men, you know, need to be doing better to be able to provide. It's another clip that I looked for, I couldn't find, where she made a comment about not giving, like if you had to split any bills or that, she would never split any bills with her man. And it was just like, it's weird. It's weird to hear stories like that because it seems like we're getting caught up in some kind of ideal that, you know, what is yours is ours, but what is mine, which what it feels like to her. And I'm like, if we're in a relationship together, there has to be some kind of like back and forth. I mean, if you want to, you know, relegate yourself to like, oh well, you're the man is the provider, then, you know, by that token and that old school ideal, then you should be at home like cooking and cleaning and all that stuff. But if you're not, that we have created a space where equality, you know, has put a lot of women in higher positions, and so the dynamic's gonna change. So which one is it that you want, right? Like, which one? So that goes to the question: do you feel like there's any validity in her statement of the ownership part, like only dealing with people who own stuff?
I'm gonna jump in here. I think the ideology about like behind what she's saying is where the problem lies for me, because not all women are. I don't really. What does she do for a living?
She's a lawyer, and
Okay.
she was on a bunch of on a bunch of different shows too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
I
I
guess
don't, I don't know
journalist.
her. So this is my like,
Yeah.
you know, my probably my second time seeing this video, but that type of ideology is kind of spreading like wildfire, especially with social media. You got a lot of women who, you know, they want their man to earn a certain amount of money or own this and own that, and then when you know, you flip that mirror around, it's not the same. So um and just like you were saying, K Styles, the you know, we're in a day and age now where the equality has catapulted, you know, the catapulted women to a certain level. And when a man turns around and say, hey, well, I want this out of my woman, you know, we're labeled another Kevin Samuels over here. So it's you know, I'm not mad at them for saying that. You got your own preference, you can have your own preference, but you know, that ideology is kind of dangerous, man.
Well, I mean, and it is what it is. Kind to your point, it's like if you have any opinions that flip that, you automatically get labeled as a toxic male,
Facts.
and it's funny because it doesn't allow for us to have the conversation. Now, in another clip that we have that we'll add, she talked about us like this being a good space to start this conversation. And I think it is good. We need to have the conversation, but to what end? So like, what are your thoughts, Aaron or MVP, on whether or not we think what we think about her overall idea there?
Honestly, like Live said, I don't have a problem with her ideology. I don't have a problem with her thought process. I don't have a problem with her preferences, her wants. I don't care. That's her. That's what she wants. I'm not looking for her. She's not looking for me. I really don't care about what she wants. However, like Live said as well, this is like a pretty big overarching thing that you see on social media where it seems like the mindset of a lot of women, and because I'm a part of the black community, mostly black women that kind of have that mindset, while at the same time they're either not bringing quote unquote anything to the table other than, you know, giving up the goods, or it's a situation in which if you outline the things that you as a man want from a woman in order to show up for her as she wants you to show up as a man, then you get that label placed on you. You know, you're automatically thrown in with the red pillars or the Kevin Samuels, or you're a toxic man, or they like to say that you're insecure and all these different things. But it's odd to me that there's a place and time for them to be able to openly say what they want, insult other people who may say otherwise, and at the same accord say that men aren't doing X, Y, and Z. So personally, I don't like it. I think this kind of nonsense needs to go away. And we need to get back to a time when we valued family over money, because that's really what it boils down to, right? It's like money over everything. No matter what you are as a man, we need money. We need this kind of money. And if you don't have that kind of money, you can't talk to me.
The one thing before you go MVP, the one thing I would say that she did say in the other clip is she said she never made it about salary. She brought up the fact of ownership because at the core, that is how you go about creating that generational wealth that we've all been talking about as Black people. And so like you have to own something versus just having a job. So I think she cleaned it up after the backlash, but in general, I feel like there is much to be said about that mentality and how it's becoming so kind of rampant, for lack of a better word. And when it comes down to, bringing to the table, then that's a whole different conversation. But MVP, let's get your clip, and then let's get your thoughts, and then I have another clip from Eboni during the pandemic, which is the first time I saw about her that kind of brings her ideas or ideologies into question. But go ahead, MVP.
So I'm gonna say I understand that she I feel like that was her original energy of like, hey, if you don't own this, I ain't messing with you. But I guess my thing is I wish she had addressed it with a little bit more detail, because I don't want people just to believe that you can just tap into the 1% of people who own stuff. And I don't know if that's the correct percentage, but majority of the world just owns stuff, right? Especially Black people. So I don't want people out there to think, hey, if you're not owning anything, I'm not banging with you, because I'm like, yo, you're going to put yourself in a bad position. Like, if anything, you need to own something and bring somebody in and build them up too. Like, if we're going to be equal, right? I've seen guys build women up. I want you to keep the same energy. Women should be building guys up. Don't come out here and just be like, hey, if you're not owning already, I'm not banging with you. And a lot of younger women in younger generations are going to see that and be like, hey, that's how I'm going to move. And I'm like, yo, if you're going to move like that, I just want to make sure you understand that everybody doesn't hit that 1%. And if you're going to dismiss all your blessings, you might find a really great guy who works at McDonald's.
First of all,
so I'm like, yeah.
Why we went to McDonald's? What about Arby's? Suppose he works at Arby's.
Burger
I don't even know how Arby's is still around.
That's my point.
Unless it's the dude, the voice of Arby's, he got money.
Well,
it's Arby's. That guy, yeah. But what I'm saying is, really going against what she's saying. I'm going against of how she said it, because even when when the other lady asked, I'm not going to try to pronounce the other lady's name. When she asked, she almost had the stink face,
That's a problem.
And I'm like, energy right there I have an issue with, because it's like, yo, don't even you wouldn't even consider it. It could be a good dude, family guy, but because he don't own the bus, you don't even give him a shot. So
well, yeah, I that's a whole nother conversation. The one clip I do want to get into, because I think we've been on this we've been kind of giving Eboni a lot of time, but the last clip is a clip that she was on Wendy Williams, and this is when she was engaged to this guy, and this was during the pandemic, and there was kind of that was another time where it created a little bit of stir. And my question is whether or not when when people say some of this stuff, whether or not they're doing it to create this buzz. And I feel like I do feel like part of her response actually was intended to create buzz. But let's listen to the other clip, and then we'll see what your thoughts are on that.
I think, like a lot of couples, Wendy, it made us tell the truth about our relationship.
How long were you with him before quarantine?
Almost 4 years.
Did you live with him at the time of quarantine?
I'll tell you what happened. He actually did not quarantine with me. He has 3 children, 2 of which are young adults, and he chose to quarantine in New Jersey with his semi-adult children. And for me, listen, I'm not a parent yet, so I get that they're number one.
Right.
But I need to be number one, Wendy.
So,
I mean, can I really quickly just interject and say that if you are a man and this incredibly beautiful woman is the woman in your life, and you've chosen to quarantine with your adult children over her, that says a lot about her. I'm sorry. This man did not want to be locked up with her.
Bro,
I'm sorry.
There's a reason. There's a reason.
Facts are facts.
How
I don't know.
sure is she that he was quarantining with his adult children?
No,
Mm,
good question.
The other
Tap-
question.
Hey,
tapping
That's-
into
you
you
something
starting
else
stuff,
there.
live. Why you starting
Hey.
stuff?
Tapping
Bruh.
into something else.
Moving right along. The next topic is the untimely passing. I guess untimely is she was an older lady, but still. Tina Turner passed away over the last week. And so, like first of all, send condolences to the family.
Big respect.
Yeah, because that is a big loss. She's when you think of like the icons of that music genre, she's definitely up there with with them. So definitely send to the family. So I guess the quick question before we get into the other stuff, because there was some controversy around this, not her death, but stuff that happened after her death. Do you have like a favorite Tina Turner song?
Nah, I wouldn't say that I have like a favorite. I like a lot of songs from her entire discography, and I just want to say rest in peace. I would say someone that was lucky enough to live to the age of 83. That's a nice long life. I don't know how long people expect to live, but 83 is, in my opinion, a good age to exit stage.
Yeah. Cool. Well, moving on, moving along to the controversy. So as with all things now, everything has become very sensitive, and it's such a weird place to be because like things that we didn't think were a big issue tend to become a big issue. So Beyonce posted a tribute to Tina Turner, who I guess Beyonce looked up to Tina Turner really highly. I mean, there was a clip that we have where it showed her like doing a tribute performance to her, and she was super excited about meeting her and everything like that. But the Twitter, I guess Tina Turner's fans kind of went in because they're like, well, she had in the Drunken Love song, Jayz made some mentions to the incident in Tina Turner's life with Ike where he forced her to eat cake, like he shoved cake down her face. And so I'll show you the clips that people were kind of upset about. One of the things like, yeah, hopefully Beyonce will finally remove the Eat the Cake anime line from Drunken Love. It's not a compliment. If you've seen the movie, you would know. Can't believe anime had to live through 50 years of other celebrities making a spectacle of her domestic abuse. I remember watching the performance of Drunken Love and being shocked at how Beyonce was smiling so lovingly at Jay when he said eat the cake instead of looking disgusted. And then like Beyonce putting a Tina Turner post tribute when she literally said eat the cake anime and one of her biggest songs is Wild. So what are y'all thoughts about this?
So, did she say those lines? I just want to clarify. Did Beyonce say those
Nope.
words?
Jayz
Okay.
did.
All right, you can continue.
No, I mean that literally. I think the irony of it is that I think a lot of things have been lost in just new sensitive world, but I also have the lyrics because I think what they were talking about. I understand why he did it. Not that I'm supporting domestic abuse or anything, but like it was a play on words. But go on. Anybody? I'll let somebody else take it.
Yeah, I mean, you already know. I've come on here time and time again. I'm not with the sensitive nonsense that the new age is always like enough is enough. Enough with these people. I don't even know why this became a thing. Why did that become a thing? Because people said it on Twitter? Like, is that what that is?
Yeah, that was
Come
the
on, man.
backlash. The backlash that she got from that. I look at it and I think of what Jay-Z said, and the irony of it is I feel like going deeper as an artist myself is like I see what he was trying to do there. It's like a story about being drunk in love, and there was a lot of alcohol in that whole Ike Tina thing, and he literally in the lyrics he says on site, catch a charge I might, beat up the box like Mike, in 97 I bite, I'm Ike, turn up baby. No, I don't play. Now eat the cake anime. Eat the cake anime. And I'm like, okay, like I get it, but
It's right within the theme of the song.
it fit into the whole subtext of the song. The other thing that was interesting is that I wanted when I did some research on this, I wanted to see if it was anything that Tina Turner actually thought of this. And her response is like, yeah, I'm not surprised. Because like with all the things that has happened in our society, there is a thing that where the narrative becomes talked about in TV, in music. It's a thing, you know, like it's to talk about the Mike Tyson thing. Imagine what it must feel for like Robin Givens, who is like every time you talk about Mike, you talk about Robin. It's stuff like that. Monica Lewinsky, but like music imitates life. So it's going to be stuff that you talk about in life that's going to end up in music. Is this a celebration of her domestic abuse? I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Hell no.
I don't really see how people feel that way. But with this new age of just everybody being concerned about everything, I think also people use this opportunity to make a case about it because it's fresh and to say, oh, well, look at Beyonce. How could she do that? I'm like, Beyonce and Tina Turner actually had a relationship. So I gotta assume they knew each other. I don't know how close they were, but if they were performed together, there's something there. But I don't know, man.
So Beyonce was supposed to go to Jay-Z and be like, hey, change your bars.
Take it out, man.
Foolishness.
I just think,
I don't know what that conversation would look like between Beyonce and Jay-Z. Like, yo. And I'm gonna be honest, she probably wasn't even paying attention to them bars until the song was completely made.
But even then, it's like, there's a lot of things that have been said in music that are egregious, right? Like things that are just ridiculous.
Rick Ross.
I mean, it goes all the way back.
Popping pills.
Blow up like the world trade.
First of all, I want to talk about Biggie. Biggie used to say some egregious stuff. Egregious. I just saw a clip. I think I sent it to Live about it. And I'm like, yo, he said some egregious stuff. And that just was a thing. I think the weird thing about hip hop now is that hip hop has been commercialized to the point where it's not just ours. So it's just something that people can jump in and have their opinions on a large scale because it is the number one genre. Even though they don't, like, the fact that people are talking that Beyonce said that means they don't really know that song. They don't know that song.
Plus you say it's... Go ahead, Live.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say towards what Styles was saying that, you know, hip-hop is ours and stuff like that. Most of those comments are probably from people that look just like us.
A couple of them were, yeah.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is, like, this is pop culture stuff. And unfortunately, Tina Turner, this happened to her so long ago. There was no, you know, we didn't have this progressive, watch your mouth, don't say this type of thing going on. So
true.
Jay-Z's not the only rapper to, you know, to say something like that. And then, you know, that quote is from a movie. We don't even know if that happened in real life. So if you put a movie out and you're saying eat the cake anime and people like the line or they thought it was funny or whatever they relate to it, you can't expect. It's just pop culture. This is what happens. We take a line and we run with it. So too much sensitivity going on.
But
it's weird.
And my thing is, and like, if I did put that, you said I can't show respect to someone that I banged with that died? Is that what just like,
just
or is that what they're saying? Like, hey, you put this in your song, so shut up, you can't cherish their life? Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, that's what it looks like. It's like, oh, you need to be in perfect accordance with this person in order to respect the fact that they were a legend and they are no longer here.
You have a song where your husband said a line, and because of that, now that she's dead, you can't show your respects.
Even if she was a major part, and that's what Beyonce said. She used to watch her videos and imitate her. So clearly there was a huge influence there. So even though that was a thing, she's not about to say anything. She's disqualified from being able to say anything. It's man, listen, I don't know what we're gonna look like very soon. Like, what is it gonna be? Like, it's gonna be like vanilla. We can't say anything. You can't even say vanilla. That might be offensive to somebody. You don't know. It's a crazy thing. But just to move on to the Carter Knowles controversy, There's no limit to the amount of controversy that happens. So Jay-Z has an alleged son. And I say alleged because it like clearly hasn't been proven.
Right.
But this guy has literally gone to the Supreme Court to force Jay-Z to take a paternity test. And I just, it's very interesting. So now looking at this guy,
Kid Cudi.
Oh, get on.
so looking at the clips here, I'm not gonna lie.
Yo, what are we doing, man?
It's the nose.
Is
man.
that
It's the
AI on the
nose.
right?
And listen,
Come on, man.
these are the pictures I found. The dude's name is Ramir Sarawhite, I think.
That look like young Chris from State Property, man.
It really does, actually. So, those clips, I mean, and they kind of look alike. Now, the thing that's interesting about this case is it's been going on since 2011.
Damn.
I did not know this has been going, like, literally all this stuff happened and we have not heard about it.
It's time for Jay-Z to call the goons and have them run down on this kid.
Okay.
And do what?
Enough is enough.
We're going to kill the guy because he said, but my thing, you know what's interesting? I feel like in this case, in most cases, you see the mother trying to ask for the paternity, not the actual son. So that was different to me. I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Takes me back to that episode of Martin where the kid came after Martin and he was like, yeah, that's my dad. And then the mom finally stepped in and she's like, man, he just looks up to you and he wanted you to be his father forever. That's what's going on here, man. But like I said, they got to call in the goons.
Okay.
He gave you a whole decade to run with this nonsense. After 10 years, you keep running with this. It's time to learn them something, man.
Hey, we do not condone violence here. Good God. You try to get the man erased. I mean, listen, there's a lot of things about this case is interesting. He said like they found somebody has a testimony that Jay-Z was with his mother, Wanda, and it's a whole lot of things. But I'm like, it's interesting that this has been going on this long and they're still not been able to solve this. Plus, how does it feel to be Jay-Z? Like, you're out here. This is the second alleged child in the last couple of years, and he's going all the way to the Supreme Court. Like,
I didn't even know you can do that.
I didn't know you could do that either.
You can just go to the Supreme Court and be like, hey. But I'm assuming it's because it's Jay-Z. Like, could you do that for a regular Joe?
I think it's because they blocked. Like, Jay wouldn't take the paternity test, so they kept moving up through the court system. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think it is that. I mean, but it's just weird to that be a thing that, Supreme Court, you're the highest court in the land. You're there about a paternity test. Like, this is Maury or something. Like, I don't understand.
Wasting taxpayer dollars.
Bro.
But if it's Jay-Z and I'm on the Supreme Court, I might take that, though.
Why?
Especially if I'm a fan of Jay-Z. I'm like, oh, hey, get him in
You
here.
got to be non-partial.
Let me get his autograph real quick on the side. You know what I mean?
Y'all believe there's any validity to his claim, though? Like,
Personally, no.
I haven't heard the story, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just it's weird that it's coming up. I feel like if there was more, it wouldn't have taken you 10 years to get to this point.
Yeah, I don't think there's any validity to this.
But I guess if it's not, then I guess my question is why Jay-Z didn't just go ahead and take that test and shut him up.
That's a good question.
You may be right about that.
That's a good question. I mean, and then what does that mean? Is he automatically invited to the family reunion now? Like, is he gonna be up there with Blue and the twins?
You know what he wants, man. If the paternity test shows that he's truly the father, this guy is just looking for this. He doesn't care about anything
what?
else.
Like, I mean, how I forgot. I didn't see how old he was, but it's not like he'd be owed like back child support or something. Like
you
what?
never know.
You think so?
You go through the court system, you never know.
But I feel like there's a statute of limitations, and that guy looks kind of old. So
I mean, he's got to be chasing it for a reason, right? He has to know what there is to be gained.
Yeah.
What if he just wants to love his father and get the love back? Maybe that's the reason.
At 30-something or however old this kid is.
Well, I mean, he's been chasing this since 2011, so it's like, yo.
I just think it's funny because this literally sounds like Meet the Parents, if you know that Jay-Z record. It literally sounds like Meet the Parents in real life. I mean, except minus the street stuff. So it's very interesting. I don't know. Any final thoughts on this?
I was going to say,
Damn.
well,
okay.
get him out.
Damn.
That was my original, and that's my final thought.
I
Get
need
him out
that.
of here.
I need that Kevin Hart. Damn, I need to throw that in there. What's up?
I just want to know what that conversation with Beyonce and Jay-Z is like. Like, so this is your second alleged child. You know what I'm saying? Like, we already had our interactions with you cheating. You know what I mean? So why, like, take the paternity test? Or you think she's just falling back? Like, yo, I trust you. That's probably not your kid.
She's drunk in love.
Okay. Either that, or she got Solange on speed dial, bro.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Call in the goons.
Get him in the
Don't make
elevator.
me call in the Beyonce definitely got goons.
Just get him in the elevator for me. I got it.
Yeah, I just set him
For
up.
real.
Oh my god. So you know,
That's my final thought.
That
yeah.
actually, going back to the whole thing, I forgot to bring this up during the Tina Turner thing. You know what's interesting? People are mad about the anime thing, right? But nobody talks about the Solange and Jay-Z thing. Like, literally, people talk about it, about Jay-Z being wrong in that situation. They don't really talk about the fact that there was an assault that happened. That was assault.
Because it's okay for women to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As a man,
you
you're
walk that
always
off.
wrong. You know, you had to do something to them for them to. What did Jay-Z do to deserve that? You know what I mean?
To be assaulted. But
Yeah.
anyway, moving this to another interesting topic. I don't know how to transition into this easily, so I'm just gonna play the clip and then.
I'm about to turn my camera off.
Nah, bro.
So,
The fuck is that?
so Adidas has posted this as a Pride swimsuit.
Yo, what's Sam Cassell doing, man?
So many questions. The main question being is this okay?
Is it okay?
Okay. What's wrong with this in your eyes? Because we all had visceral responses to this, and I know someone's gonna say, "Oh, look, they're homophobic," da 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 da. But what was your issue? What was your main issue with this swimsuit posted on the Adidas website?
Anyone want to go first?
I'm gonna say, bro, people stop wearing Speedos for a reason. So what?
You go ahead, do your thing.
What are you talking about? It's 2023, bro. You can't just walk around with your stuff out, man. You can't walk around with the bulge. I'm sorry, man. Like, and then what? It's a one-piece swimsuit
Listen.
for a guy?
Hey, first of all,
Why? I'm sorry, bro. I know we're all supposed to be like, you know, woke and like accepting of a bunch of stuff, but my thing is, if my homeboy came to my pool party wearing that, bro, I probably won't be able to stay in my house for a couple days. Cause everybody gotta go. Like him, me, is that your man's? You gotta go too. We got kids here. We got kids running around at the pool, and you got your bulge out, bro.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
There's a reason.
What y'all think?
you're
What
about to
y'all-
get us
I don't know.
canceled, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't
I
want to get us
agree
canceled.
with him, though. I
What
agree
y'all
with
think?
him.
What y'all think?
Adidas is giving an all-new definition to the term "battle of the bulge." What is that? You can't do that, bro. It's a woman's swimsuit with a full-grown man with a complete package in the thing. What are we talking about here?
Listen, I think go ahead. Live, did you have? I feel like you're about to say something before I jump in.
No. Look, man. Just quick. Like it's to the point. This is why we have swimming trunks for men and bathing suits for women.
Agreed.
Nobody. I don't. You know, if I'm going online to buy my son a pair of sneakers, I don't want the first thing to pop up and the goddamn, internet
Adidas?
browser. Yeah, it's supposed to be like
Site,
a
yeah.
family-friendly site. That's kind of just they're always pushing the envelope, trying to see how far they can get away with shit, and they should know better than that by now, man.
So the question is,
I like that take a lot.
the question is, do you think this has gone too far? And then what is your thought process to the people who said this is inclusive of another subset of people and representing those people?
That is a small percentage of United States of America. We're talking I don't know, under 1%, if I'm not mistaken.
But it's a very loud minority. It's
Also, nothing
we-
small about that picture.
okay.
Oh my God.
All right, thank you. And the moment is we try to have like a serious conversation, and he just took us off the ridge.
Nah, you can't take this seriously.
No.
Because my thing is, I would love to ask some people who are about, pride and all that stuff. Do y'all even want that? Like, I don't
That's a good
see
question.
a bunch of dudes who, are homosexual. They wear swimming trunks.
But we don't know, right? We're basing it on our.
That's what I'm saying. I don't
we
know.
Don't know.
No, like
I-
Live said though, this is tailored to a very small percentage because even your typical gay male still presents himself as a man.
Some.
And your typical average gay dude who is just a regular guy, but he is attracted to men, is not doing this. So, like Live said, this is appealing to not. It's a very small percentage of people, so it's almost as if there's a bit of pandering going on here because I don't really understand why it needs to be presented on the site and in that kind of almost
makes no sense.
yeah, like it's almost damn near like provocative. It's almost as if they're doing it because they know it's going to stir, an entire audience of people up the way that it is now. So they didn't need to do that. Even if they needed to present that and say for men as well, they could have just put that in there without actually having male models with a complete bulge on the website with a side view, a front view. It's a little too much. It's a little too much.
That actually goes
shit.
smoothly into my next question. Do we think that Adidas was actually attempting to present themselves as a true ally, or do we feel like this was just an opportunity to create some conversation because we know they're hurting after having
Get
to
some clout.
to separate themselves from Adidas? I mean, from Adidas, from
talking about
Kanye.
Kanye.
I was like,
Yeah, okay,
Kanye, Ye was Adidas. So
I was about to say,
He was.
Ye was Adidas, so it makes sense. why
Ye
you said it
left
like
and
that.
their stocks went down. All kinds of other artists try to do stuff, not going anywhere. The whole
Yeah.
Beyonce line
Okay,
got
I was gonna say,
trashed.
drop some names, sir.
It's
drop
over.
Some names.
It's over.
Beyonce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeezy,
So-
Yeezy was carrying the brand.
So do you think that this was a true attempt at being an ally or just an opportunity to create buzz because Pride Month was coming up?
Buzz for
buzz.
dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Buzz for
Pride Month's coming
dollars.
up. I understand that if we say it's the buzz, then that makes sense. But it's like, yo, I don't think we'll see because remember they had this whole like hoochie guy shorts or whatever that was like a buzz for like a little bit.
Yeah.
But that wasn't straight from Adidas, was it? I think that was
No,
that was just the
like
design.
Yeah.
and women were like, yo, what are they doing out here? They're like, it's funny because it's like, yo, we want to be accepting of everything, but as soon as a guy do some crazy stuff, it's like, yo, what are you doing? And so if the hoochie shorts was a buzz, it was like, yo, what are you doing out here? This I would say, this is going too far. This is like, bro, you
I'm
No,
just
this
trying,
is
who
not-
are they trying to
this
market to? Like, who are they trying
Right.
to?
Exactly.
Adidas demographic, we kind of all know who's wearing Adidas. Like, so like you said, it's for shock value because
Mhm.
that demographic
Shock
doesn't
value.
match to the presentation. I'm sorry, like.
Yeah.
Well, in our since we've gone down a path of randomness, I feel like this is a good way to end this out. So we all have heard about the King Charles
Trying
and
to get us removed from YouTube with this
Hey,
one.
I'm just saying, listen, this is a thing that happened after their coronation. The Brits are not feeling King Charles, so somebody drew a member on his
a
lawn.
unit.
On his lawn, and I thought that would have been a good transition to get us off of this topic, and then we can move on to something else. But yeah, I don't think people like him very much. Clearly, based on the time it took to draw this on the yard, like there's a lot of work they put into drawing this thing, and they don't really like him. So, any thoughts?
So move it off the screen first, and then I'll give my thoughts. I can only participate for so long.
Okay.
So my thing is like, yo, did nobody see this guy drawing this? Like, that's my first question.
How long
like,
did it take?
right? That I feel like he put some effort into it. Two,
That sounds wild, crazy.
wild, crazy. Like he put some effort into it.
Okay.
I was like, yo, why do people draw?
Lava's never coming back to this.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that was it for me. I think the back-to-back was enough, man. You feel me? It was enough for me, bro.
All right, I'm gonna drop it.
Yeah, we're done.
I try to have a serious debate about it.
We're done.
But you can't take
You
it
could
seriously.
transition to the next one.
You can't take
All
it
right,
seriously.
so in other news, so the guy known as Fetty Wap.
You can't go to whip.
What?
Nah.
We gotta put an intermission or something.
There's
like
no intermission, bro. We're doing this live. There's no intermission. So Fetty Wap was sentenced to 6 years in jail after he was working with a group that distributed more than 100 kilos of cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl across Long Island and New Jersey. So apparently, they were using the USPS system and a bunch of drivers to move the stuff from the West Coast. So he about to do 6 years. And what are your initial thoughts on this?
And I want Live to start that song.
Damn, why you calling the man out like that?
Oh no, that's. I don't really have any thoughts. I mean, free Fetty Wap, man. Like,
True.
hey,
True. Okay.
it's hard coming from rap money, and then your sales start declining. So I don't blame him, man. He had to get it how he live, and that's what he knows. So that's my thoughts on the situation.
Yeah, it's actually really sad that Fetty is an artist that was so big and had so many hits that he had to fall back on this. If anything, this is a bigger conversation for the music industry and how they take advantage of their artists, because I'm sure if he was living well, he would not have been in a position where he would even be looking at this, or maybe he would be. I don't know, but the music industry chews you up and spits you out, and then you gotta claw and scratch and find a way to make it.
Mm-hmm. Some people can't let it go. When you're making a certain type of money, it's hard to pop back out in public and let people see that you're not living that lifestyle that you were living anymore. So I think that kind of played a part in his decision making. But hey, shit.
And to piggyback off what you're saying, Live, I do know I saw a podcast he was on, and he was talking about how that whole run he had where everybody was like blasting his stuff, and like he was like hotter than fish grease, whatever that means.
What?
I think that's a thing.
No, yeah, go ahead. I was just unexpecting it. Go ahead.
And the way his business was set up with the music stuff, he didn't get a lot of money from it, even though we know that his music went crazy for that span of time. And so like the label or whatever really like capitalized on that. So I do think that it goes to that part of like, being aware of what you're signing when you do these music deals, because for him to pop like he did, and then I guess I don't want to say fall off, but like apparently you had to have some level of falling off if you're going to go back to distributing that white girl.
Not necessarily, because
Not
I don't think, like, not to get too deep into this, but like Young Thug didn't fall off, and them dudes were still doing shit. You know what I'm saying? So allegedly,
I guess that
Free
was
slime.
more of like, would you say free slime?
Free slime.
Not to go too deep, but like I think Thug's situation was more of like, hey, intimidation. I'm gonna let you know that I'm not to be played with. So I think a level of
It was part of just that lifestyle. It's a lifestyle he didn't leave. So he was, making money in music, but he was living a lifestyle that he allegedly he kept living the lifestyle that he was living beforehand. So I don't necessarily see, it's not a direct one-to-one with Fetty Wap, but it's definitely a bigger story to what Aaron said about like people not necessarily having the the ability to keep their stuff, keep their, you know, selves living off of just the music. So,
Right.
And so
Financial
let me ask you a
education,
question.
man. That's the moral of the story.
Big
You know,
facts.
they don't
Big,
they don't
big
have a
facts.
lot of these artists don't have anybody around them that I mean, we all come from you know similar backgrounds. You know, it's not like you got financial advisors in the hood nowhere that you can go to. So I don't think they learn a lot. You know, then they get the money, they blow it, and you know they wind up in situations like this. It's unfortunate, but I do understand how them circumstances kind of lead to that.
And so my question would be, do you think that, because I do agree with what you're saying, do you think that there should be more messaging in the culture about, hey, if you're coming from this situation, we know it's gonna be hard. Because I have some people on my side who like, it's hard for me to understand why you going back to this, you know, this type of life. And I'm like, you were good outside, even from the point of like, I feel like me and my family are supporting you, and yet you still went back to this move. And I'm like, do we think there should be some type of messaging like, hey, when you get to a certain level of, let's like, and we're gonna use music just to stay on Fetty Wap, that you should literally invest in bringing somebody outside of that environment that's going to coach you and help you make better moves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or are we just going to say, hey, the people you're surrounded with is the people you're surrounded with? Or should there be some type of messaging? Hey, go out of your way to find some people who are going to move you. Because I think people do that, right? Like, I think Jay-Z has found people. I think J. Cole's had mentors and stuff like that. So, is that messaging something that we care about and should make a thing in the culture as far as hip hop is concerned, or is just everybody just to their own devices and hey, if you go back to the life, that's on you type thing?
It's tough, but I feel like it should be a situation in which once these guys start making money, the same people that are guiding them in terms of their business aspect, people that are getting them hooked up with managers and accountants and all of that, should be also hooking them up with personal finance advisors. But sometimes they do have that, and these people themselves are the ones robbing them because they can't look at all of the money. I mean, look at Rihanna. Didn't she get
that was
taken?
a good question.
Look
That was
at what's his name, Usain Bolt. You know, so sometimes it's the people you put in place to even help you with your financial advising, they're the ones robbing you blind too. I don't really know what happened in Fetty's specific situation, but it's tough, man. It's the education. Back to what Live is saying. In the schools, they need to have systems in place that teach people how to manage their money. They need to teach them about credit cards, mortgages, all these different things, the stock market. That way, when you are in a position where you have money, you might not have all the education, but you at least have the very small beginnings so that you can start branching out to the areas that you need to branch out to get things right. If you don't have any of that, you don't even have a foundation, things like this happen, and then you go back to what you know.
Well, this is a great transition into the Ja Morant stuff.
Perfect.
Because I think that if we start talking about like education and all that stuff, this guy is in a position where he is potentially going to fumble everything that he was able to get. And I know that there's a lot of feelings around this. But, you know, I guess starting off is like, what do you feel about the whole like second instance of this guy flashing a gun in the video? Is that it? Are we making a bigger deal out of this than it should be? Or is this like, you know, does the punishment of not playing for the whole season and missing out on millions of dollars justify what he did?
So I'm gonna say, I'm a little upset, right? I don't even know this guy, but from a common sense standpoint, if I say, hey, I'm the NBA and you can't do this, and you literally do it again with ain't even a couple, I guess from my standpoint, oh, you must think I'm playing with you. Because if you wave your gun in the camera and I say, hey, you're suspended for a couple games, we don't like that in the NBA, which I feel like you should have already understood that, but you made a mistake. So okay, we're just gonna give you a little slight warning. But then it ain't even been a year, and you do it again. You. I don't know if y'all seen like Bad Boys, but you messing with my timetable now. You messing with my money. Like I already told you, this is not tolerated, and you're not. It's something's going on your side where you're not listening. Maybe I need to be a little bit more drastic with it, because I thought I was being nice by just suspending you for a couple games. You gonna do it again? And then it's crazy because in the video, his friend was like, "Oh snap, what are you doing?" Friend, move the camera. Like, bro, even your friend who's not a player in the game is like, as a friend, you should be trying to make sure he's good. Don't let him move outside of his money. And his friend was like, "Yo, what are you doing?" So if he doesn't understand that, I'm concerned, bro. Like, you don't just don't flash the gun. What, like, it's not saying like, "Yo, don't eat." I can understand someone tell you don't eat and you fucking eat. But don't flash the gun in the camera. Is that so hard? Like, you just have to do it? And so when it's that stupid, because I'm gonna just say stupid, and I don't know the dude, but if I meet him, I'll be like, "Yo, you're freaking stupid, bro." Like, maybe you need a guy like me to tell you, and I would say it in a respectful way as a friend, but I'm like, "Yo, why are you doing this?" I don't care who it is. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian. If you're playing for the NBA, you know how the NBA get down, bro. I'm pretty sure he's been watching the NBA all his life.
I got a question.
So it's not like.
My bad.
Go ahead, live.
You know, me and Styles talked about this a little bit before, but like, is there a specific code of conduct that covers this type of behavior? Like, is it written somewhere that he can't do this? Is there? Because I haven't seen it yet, and I don't know if that's the case. Whether it be the Memphis Grizzlies as an organization or the NBA as a commission that says, "Hey, you can't have a legal firearm." You know, I don't. Because is that what are we really mad about at the end of the day? Like, when we get down to it, what are we upset about? What did he do that was so egregious? Is it just because it's the second time he did it, or we just don't like to see young black males turning up the NBA young boy with a legal firearm?
Was it legal? Is that something that was confirmed?
Yeah, it's his gun.
Okay. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know much about this story, and I just know that the NBA, just like the NFL, is a family-friendly corporation, and alongside with that, they have a specific image that I guess they like to maintain, and having one of your lead athletes irresponsibly waving around a gun, and he's clearly not even at home. He's in a car, which I'm assuming is on the street. That's not the kind of imagery that organization, I guess, would like to have floating out there. So I could understand giving a warning. All in all, I don't necessarily know what his mindset is, because I don't even understand the necessity for it. Even if you are turning up to music, why does the gun need to become visible? Why does that not stay tucked wherever it is and you just enjoy the music on live or whatever? Like, what is it that you're trying to portray? Was that gun even loaded? Because the way you're doing that, it's like, that's irresponsible. Someone could get hurt. So all in all, I'm thinking the NBA is just all about imagery. I don't understand his motives. I don't know. Dude is young, you know, he's a little you know, when you're young, you do stupid things, and I guess it's just playing out in front of the camera. That's all, in literal sense.
And that's my biggest thing. My bad, MVP. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
My biggest thing is I don't think there's anything wrong with the NBA punishing one of their employees. You know, if it's something that hurts the image, do what you need to do. My issue is how all of social media, all of Twitter, all of Instagram, everybody who had an opinion or a platform was jumping on this 23-year-old, you know, black male for he didn't do anything illegal. He didn't get locked up. He wasn't punching strippers out. He wasn't, you know, we got other instances of NBA players doing wild shit, shooting themselves, you know, so it's like you know, we got to be careful what type of pressure we apply, because he is young. You know what I mean? And mistakes do happen, and it's not like he did anything illegal. It's not like he hurt anybody. And then the other thing is imagery is everything. So what makes me mad about the situation is if this was a hunting trip, you know what I mean? And somebody they took pictures of their guns. Would the NBA have the same flair and uh, uh, aggression towards this type of imagery as they would with what he did? Um, I just don't see how it. And I guess when you become an NBA player, that's I guess that's what you sign up for. But when do you get time to be yourself? He was in his car in his driveway. You know, he didn't record it. He didn't post it himself. His friend just caught him on live. So he's in his car with his own property. You know, when does he get time to let his head down and be himself? I mean, damn, we expect this man to be perfect 24/7, 7 days a week, 365. It's just impossible.
So, quick question for you, Live, in regards to everything you said, because I agree 100% with everything you're saying.
Mhm.
So, that being said, there was an incident that happened prior, and they came down on him for it. There were repercussions to what happened the first time, and then he does it again. What do you think about that specific aspect? Is the fact that now you're aware that the NBA doesn't play around with that type of imagery, and then it's happening a second time?
To be totally honest with you, that's not something I could defend because I think once you got in trouble the first time, something should have triggered you to say, "Hey," but we got to look. It's two different situations that they're trying to meld together to mold
Right.
together.
Right.
The first time he posted himself with his
Right.
pistol in a strip club and dancing with it. The second time he was caught at, like I said, at his home in his driveway
Right.
in his vehicle dancing and doing what he was doing. So I think they're slightly two different situations. But if we're gonna watch, I mean, damn, the NBA is watching his friends live. Like, you know what I mean? Like, damn, you just can't get caught doing anything outside of what they want you to do or what you want to be perceived as. And that's the scary part for me. I don't think a lot of times, and I'll cut it short, but a lot of times we'll hear them say, "Oh, they gave him $200 million." They didn't give him anything; he earned it.
He worked for that.
And that's the type of ideology that goes into stuff like this. Is like, we gave you this money, so you are expected to behave like this. And for me, that's a lot of fucking responsibility for a 23-year-old
Yeah.
black male who lives in Memphis. One of the fucking, there's guns everywhere. People are
Right.
getting shot every goddamn day. So I expect him to protect himself. As a millionaire, I expect him to have a gun.
The question is, once you get to that level, at 23 is young and you have the access to money. I know we've seen stuff like Aaron Hernandez happen, like where he literally went on killing people, which is not what he's doing at all. But do you feel like he should have done something different there with as far as the video and streaming on live? Like, if you've already got in trouble once for this, would you not then say, okay, well, all right, we could do all of the things that we would do and just not put it on live, like not put it on, not put it out there for people to see, because we've all been there. I mean, we've all probably done stuff that we literally didn't have to, we're very happy that didn't have to be shown publicly, but you are a public figure. I mean, he was a second draft pick in 2019. So you're up there with supposedly being one of the best players in that class. So there's going to be extra things that come with that. Not just about the money. It's just literally about the fact that you're on a bigger stage now. And the other question really is he really about like that life? That's my question. Or does that not matter?
How many of y'all are gun owners? I know
that would be me.
Aaron?
I'm in New York State.
Oh yeah, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not a gun owner.
MVP, you're not a gun owner?
Nope.
One of the first things you do when you get a gun, especially at a younger age, I had my first pistol at like 22, is you play with that motherfucker like a PS5 controller. Like, it's just, it's something we do, especially young, and it's a dangerous thing. Don't get it wrong. I've dry fired, pistols 1,000 fucking times. Like, that just means it's not loaded. So I get what he's doing, because honestly, a lot of us do that. How many times have you heard, the guy get a new gun and point it in the mirror at his goddamn self? It was in like a Jayz verse, but people actually do shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's just unfortunate they caught it on camera. And to your point, Kyle, he didn't post it himself. So does that make a difference to you? That it was caught on a live that his friend did? Should his friend not? If I was him, I'd get rid of the friend. That's just my honest opinion.
Really? Why?
No.
Okay, Kyle, you just got in trouble. Well, Styles, my bad. You just got in trouble for something. Aaron just got in trouble for something. Or MVP, you got in trouble for something. And the first thing I do is, put a phone in your face, and I'm recording you.
I disagree with that for one reason. I say what immediately once the guy realized, the friend realized that he pulled the gun out. You saw that, man. That was like cat-like reflexes. So clearly, I think they got caught up in the moment of the song. But then the next thing that Jaw did was like, all right, let me reach for it.
I was about to say, I put the onus on him because
100%.
You got in trouble before. You know your boy is live. Leave it tucked, man. Even if you want to go like this, go like that, because you're turning up, you're rapping along with leave that tucked. That's the only thing I would say in that situation I would have expected from him. I'm already in a little bit of trouble for this very thing. This dude is on live. Even if he's not live, his phone is out and he's recording. I don't want this video appearing anywhere of me doing anything irresponsible with this pistol. Leave it tucked, period.
And
everything else is no problem.
Yeah, I think that really, it comes from another generational thing too, because there was certain things that I said we did when we were younger that we got away with because there was no one to see it.
No phone.
Granted, if we were, millionaires, you might have a little bit more because like paparazzi would have to find you. But like these self-inflicted stuff because you're doing this with your friend and you like some of that, like you should be like, no phones, bro. We're not recording nothing. Just because you're putting yourself at risk and you're messing up the bag. We won't be able to go on Turn Up if we all broke at home. You know what I'm saying? Like I do think this goes back to our original conversation about the training and setting these people up for success, that it doesn't happen. Because somebody should have been like, hey, bro, we're going to clean this up. You guys could do whatever. You don't get on live for nothing right now. For right now, we're not doing no lives. Let's get to the next contract extension first. Like, just, I know that sounds like a very, transactional thing to say, but you have secured money based on the fact that you can play very well. Let's not mess that up because you wanted to vibe out to a record.
Agreed.
And my thing is that I think as the friend, I'm trying to give the friend some bill. Like, hey, I didn't think that yo dumbass is going. Yeah, because I'm tired of like, bro, that's some dumb stuff, bro. Like, as your friend, I didn't think yo dumbass would bring out the gun again after you just. Because if the friend reacted like that, the friend must know what's going on. So he wouldn't have reacted like that if he didn't know, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. So if the friend knows this, why don't you know that? And it's you, the person that's getting in trouble for doing this stuff.
My last thing I'm going to add to this before we move on, because we've been on this for a while, is actually, as you say that, you make me actually agree with Live more. And I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. Because he was doing this after he got in trouble. He probably continued doing this. This is not a new habit. And what happened was his friend was on live. If his friend was not on streaming live, they would not have seen this and he would have been fine. He didn't stop, because clearly this is not it wasn't like, oops, I just did it again. It's not some Britney shit. It literally, he was doing this on it's probably how they do it, how they give it up all the time.
I agree with you. In him defending the friend,
yes,
I'm agreeing with Live more because it's I just started to remember how I've been in situations with people pulling out phones where it's like, yo, why are we on the phone right now? Yeah. Leave that over there, like for minor things. So I could see both sides of the story, and I'm also happy to say that I didn't grow up with people with cell phones with cameras that could go on the internet, because I wouldn't be here talking to you guys
famous
right now.
The
stupid stuff I was doing being not famous and broke.
Imagine. So as we transition to another topic and keeping it on social media, Montana became the first state to officially ban TikTok. What are your thoughts on that? Does anyone care? Where do we see this going from here? Bars.
I'll officially say I do not care.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. Go ahead.
What'd you
Sorry.
say?
No, I said bars. Go ahead, Aaron.
Bars. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. TikTok is yeah, I don't care. TikTok is not a social media app that I really see much relevance for. Not that any of them have this major relevance, but I don't know. There's just a lot of trash on TikTok, a lot of inaccuracies, a lot of dancing, a lot of stupid crap.
Gotta hit the.
I don't understand why they would ban it. I know there's the whole Chinese spy conspiracy. I don't understand why they would ban it, but if they did ban it, no loss, no gain.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering is why they would ban it. And then how do you ban it? Like if you're in this location, you can't use it, but
Probably
if I go
walled
across the state,
garden it.
Yeah, if you, I mean, you'd have to use like a VPN to use it outside of that area. Or something
And then if you do use a
you
VPN,
give it all your data away.
well, not just that. If you're caught using a VPN to circumvent going on TikTok in that state, you could face up to 20 years in prison.
They're giving up.
Seriously?
So wait.
Yeah, I think that's
Wait. So Fetty Wap got 6 years for selling cocaine, and you're telling me I get 20 years for
you
subverting
could be facing
Bro,
that. Yeah,
that's-
if you're because basically the government said don't do it. You went and did it anyway, so now we're gonna learn you.
But they told us not to sell drugs. 20 years is a little bit like that's like when
Every state
people
is
pirate,
different though.
Yeah, when
Montana is extremely conservative.
but that's like when you used to pirate. People used to pirate movies. There's always that FBI thing that says you'll be facing X amount, and it wasn't 20 years,
Bro,
Like,
there's some people right now, even though they're not big stories, that their life is completely ruined from doing torrents and all that stuff. It's not big news, but I remember listening to a podcast just recently. There's a woman currently paying back millions of dollars to the recording industry of America because of circumventing those rules. We don't hear about them, but there are some people who will never live a normal life again because of
That's
screwing
because
around with that.
They catch one person, and
They
because
kill
you know
them.
everybody's
Everything.
doing it, but they catch one person and try to make an example of them. So I
Destroyed them.
believe that. I definitely believe that.
but 20 years.
But can a government ban an app? Like, is that this? Is
I
this
mean,
the
it's like
first time? Is
China.
this unprecedented? Like, I've never heard our government banning.
There's a lot of
an app.
stuff going on right now in crypto. There are crypto apps that are banned in the United States, and if you get caught using it, it's a wrap for you. One of them is called Tornado Cash. What it does is you transact over this network, and it mixes your cryptocurrency transaction so it can't be tracked. And when the crypto comes out the other end, no idea where it came from, no idea where it went to, nothing. So they're saying that this could be used in money laundering and various things like that. And that is currently a banned app to the point where the individual who even created it, all he did was wrote the code, and he's currently under house arrest. He was in prison, but he's under house arrest until his trial comes around. And all he did was write the code. So yeah, the government
it's
in
giving China
America
vibes.
is getting disgusting. Right now.
It's giving China vibes.
is very very much so. Very much
for
so.
sure. Communist nation.
Do we think other people are going to other states are going to follow this TikTok banning trend, and do we see it getting banned in the whole United States?
Conservative
wrong with
states, I
TikTok,
can see.
though? What
It's the
happened? I'm
Chinese
lost.
thing. They're saying that TikTok, there's this whole idea that it's destroying the minds of young people, but also they're saying that it is a Chinese spy app, that they're using the information to spy on America and Americans. And you already know how there's this whole thing where they believe other nations like Russia and China are getting involved in American elections and rigging things. So now if you have access to people's devices, that gives you a lot more information to manipulate various parts of the United States. So I think that's what triggered all of this. And I'm really only hearing it from conservatives. The first person I ever heard talking about banning TikTok was Trump. So it seems to me like it's really the conservatives that are really like digging in on this ban TikTok thing. And the place that it's banned, Montana, extremely conservative. So we'll have to see. Maybe it'll be like abortion, where it's like certain states are like, nope, and other states are like, shut it down.
You gotta cross the border to use your TikTok, bro. You better.
I know,
store
for real.
up all
Like,
your
yo,
dances.
I'm coming to New York real quick. I gotta do some TikTok dances and upload
my
these
God.
things.
The one thing that was interesting about that, it did seem like TikTok is suing Montana,
Correct.
for this, which is interesting because I personally have not heard of a foreign company suing a state. But then we also really haven't seen a state banning an app. So it's, as Live said, it's unprecedented times where we're seeing a whole lot of things play out on the world stage. And it's kind of ridiculous.
America's changing.
Yeah. Any final thoughts before we get to our last topic of the day?
No.
Nope.
Nah, I'm
Cool.
good off the TikTok situation.
So, to another app causing all the stir, Netflix, who has been trying this out in other countries, has now put the official nail in the coffin for password sharing and is forcing people to, forcing is such a strong word, strongly suggesting that people get their own accounts. If you're not in the same household, you can't share the Netflix password. How do we feel? Do you care?
MVP?
Well, so for me, I share it only in my household. So I don't care because I don't even want to give people my password like that. But I feel like there's a way, hacker's life, to get around that. Like, that's why I want someone who's sharing it across like households like that. And my thing is,
I'm definitely
you are?
As Netflix's stock comes across and it's up right now. So it ain't affecting them.
Well, maybe it's up because they're expecting higher profits as a result of.
Yes. Aren't they charging $7.99 for the opportunity to do that? That was the thing that I saw. So yeah, it's revenue for them.
So $7.99 for you the opportunity to share with other people.
Yeah.
Share outside of your household. Yeah.
I mean, if that's, to me, that makes more sense than forcing me to say like, oh, we're not going to use the same account. Because I don't necessarily, like, I know, like, my family all uses it, and we live in 3 different houses, but we have, like, whatever higher tier, because it's like, but all of us are putting money into share to it. So, to me, if you're forcing me to have my own account, I'm probably not going to keep it. Like, I'm not.
So all of y'all are paying for Netflix?
I don't have Netflix.
We put, like,
you're talking to
not
Styles.
individually, we have a shared account, and we send money to pay for it. So one person has it.
Okay,
and
that's different because my thing was like, hey, if I'm paying money for Netflix and I'm sharing across 3-4 households, I guess y'all just ain't gonna get free Netflix. Like, bro, I've been a good guy for the past 3-4 years giving y'all Netflix. It ain't that serious to me because it's like, yo, you still got, I'm still sharing HBO. I'm still sharing Hulu. I'm sharing all my stuff within the house. And nobody else is paying for it but me. So if Netflix comes in and says, hey, sorry, you got to start paying for it, you still got HBO from me. You still got Hulu from me. You still got Paramount from me. I don't even want to keep going. So it ain't really that big a deal for me if unless y'all not using other apps too.
Well, any thoughts, Live, before I move? Because I had another point in this.
No, not really. I think MVP said it the best. Like, you know, hey, you motherfucker, y'all been getting away with this shit for a long time now. So if you ain't watch what you wanted to watch by now, too damn bad.
Well, the thing that I think this really sets the stage for is, I think other platforms are gonna follow suit. You would be seeing HBO once Netflix does it. Then the next thing you will be seeing is HBO, well, Max. Excuse me. Yeah, you see Max or Disney Plus or all these other places
Paramount
that have shared.
Already does it.
That only does really?
Yeah, Paramount already does it. Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing because I feel like that's
That
another
app
thing I
is so
shared.
trash though.
Paramount Plus, yeah, they do it.
Yeah, Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Netflix out loud because Netflix UI interface is way better than everybody. I think everybody just tries to, no, for sure. I use all of them. And I'm like,
I don't know about that.
Paramount will freeze. If you fast forward a little bit on the movie, the Paramount will freeze,
It's garbage.
just for example.
I agree with him on that.
So you can tell, like Netflix, I'm like, okay, y'all can do that. But the other ones, y'all got a lot of interface bugs to work out before y'all can even get to that level. And if y'all try to get to that level, I think y'all not gonna get a lot of people switching over.
Also,
Like, I think people
content
gonna switch
too.
over for Netflix.
that was about to say. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say content. Listen, if you actually have a valuable product and you start implementing these rules, people are going to follow suit because you're actually bringing quality content to the foray. I don't know what Paramount is doing that's going to be worth all of that. It's like that's an easy app to drop.
There was a show that they had that it was some show in like stayed in like Western style, and it was like ridiculous. I think I forgot the name of it, but and I'm like, I don't necessarily. That's why they're probably doing that, because they have to recoup the money. There's like way so much money that they have to do on that, and I think Paramount has been reporting losses year after year. So I get it, but it's so weird for us to now get to this point that we are now, all of these streaming services are now more expensive than the cable bundle you used to get. It's ridiculous.
I would like to see an app, or with the, because a lot of times you'll have Netflix and it'll be certain shows you watch on there, and then you got to get Paramount Plus or Hulu or whatever the hell so you can watch. I would like to see an app that can just select the shows from each fucking platform that I like and put it all together. Because I'm not watching everything on Netflix. I'm not watching everything on Hulu. It's just certain things I want to watch. So I think at some point we'll probably see something like that where you could just have, they'll pay for all the subscriptions. You put it in one bundle and just watch the shows that you want to watch.
So let me see if I understand what you're saying. Like, you have your Netflix, your Max, your Paramount Plus, your Disney Plus, all of that into one thing, and you just pay one big price for access to everything.
Well, not to
or selective, more
selective things from all these. So you select what you want on an a la carte basis as you want it. You know what that sounds like? Cable TV.
Yeah.
They did that, and everyone wanted to get away from cable TV, because if you paid for cable, they had an on-demand section with everything available, and a la carte, you just chose what you... And now everyone wanted to get away from that. We got all these apps that we all pay $10-15 a month for, individually, still paying almost $100 a month in cable. Well, not cable, but in streaming services. Yeah. It's kind of funny how we just went full 360 on that.
Hey, the it's cyclical, bro. Everything just goes around. I do like that idea, because it'd be cool if we can just say, hey, I just want to watch, Power on Stars and watch this on Hulu, and
they
say,
also have another service for that.
What? The internet?
Just get your freaking Amazon stick and
Fire Stick.
Fire Stick.
Jailbreak it and
once
literally
again. Based on the fact that you just talked about something that was giving like 20 years in jail, I don't know if we can condone that.
I don't condone it, but I'm just saying that's
that.
literally what people are doing.
Well,
that stuff be so choppy. It's just easier to pay, man. I've tried it before. I just rather.
I'm a big advocate of paying for stuff. I like the quality.
Exactly.
I'm gonna pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, what we're gonna see is that everybody's just gonna start using Tubi, man. Tubi's gonna come out on top because you don't gotta pay for nothing, and your movies are only fractionally good, but at least you don't gotta pay for any services.
That content ain't the best.
Hey,
though.
man, I was watching.
It's like nostalgic content.
I was watching a movie on Tubi recently, and I'm like, because everybody been talking about how bad it is, and I'm like, let's see, and I'm like, I watched. It was an hour and a half movie. There was no arc. There was no nothing. It was just like literally watching a bunch of people. It looked like a bad GTA character, like just going through his life and all the mistakes that they're making. And I'm like, what did I just watch? I need my time back, but I didn't pay anything for it. So this is a shameless plug to Tubi, I guess. Good luck.
I batch watch.
Yeah. So
save it up. Whatever you want to watch. Get the service for 2-3 months. Watch what you want to watch. Turn that crap off. Unless TV is just that important to you where you have to have multiple services year round so you can constantly spend time watching TV. There's a lot of value being taken away from your life spending that much time in front of your television anyway. So maybe if this is that big of a deal to you, it's time to reevaluate where your time goes.
This is true. Well,
damn.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else to say to that. I mean, that's a good way to segue to the ending. This has been a very interesting show. We've gone all over the place. And I want to say shout out to everybody that tuned in. Shout out to the
Yo,
guests.
thanks for live showing up, man. This is the
Yeah,
first
man.
time I was ever able to record anything with live, man. And I like your takes and input, so greatly
Same, man.
appreciate it on
Likewise,
my part.
likewise.
Yeah,
Likewise.
so good stuff. So once again, shout out to everybody who tuned in. We'll be back next month with another Wrapped. This is In Crowd. Peace.